Have you ever cupped your hands behind your ears and noticed how everything suddenly sounds louder and cleaner? Or wondered why the music from a passing car sounds different when it's moving toward you versus driving away? Sound is constant, everywhere, completely unavoidable. And yet the actual process of how it travels from the air outside your head to the inside of your brain is something almost nobody has ever been told. How does invisible pressure in the air become a voice, a song, or a warning? And why does your ear need three of the tiniest bones in your entire body just to make any of it work? To understand hearing, you have to travel back to the mid-1800s, when scientists were still genuinely puzzled by one specific problem. A violin and a trumpet playing the exact same note sound nothing alike. And yet the human ear separates them instantly, without any effort, every single time. A German physicist named Hermann von Helmholtz spent years in the 1850s and 1860s working through this. He proposed what became known as the place theory of hearing. The idea that different locations inside the ear respond to different frequencies, the way different keys on a piano each produce a different pitch. But Helmholtz couldn't actually see inside a living ear to confirm any of it. The inner ear sits buried deep inside the temporal bone, the hardest bone in the entire human body, and the structures inside are too small to observe directly. His theory stayed unproven for nearly another 100 years. Here's how the whole system actually works, starting the moment a sound wave leaves its source. Sound is compression. Air molecules pushing against each other in rapid traveling waves. Those waves funnel down your ear canal and strike the eardrum, a thin membrane roughly 8 to 10 millimeters across. The eardrum vibrates and passes those vibrations immediately into three bones: the malleus, the incus, and the stapes, which together amplify the incoming pressure by roughly 22 times before sending it any further. All three bones fit together in a space about the size of a pea, and the stapes, the last of the three, measures only about 3 millimeters long, the smallest bone anywhere in the human body. That tiny bone pushes against a membrane called the oval window, which opens into the cochlea, a fluid-filled spiral that coils 2.5 times and sits roughly the size of a pea. Inside that spiral, along a structure called the basilar membrane, approximately 15,000 hair cells line up in precise rows. As the fluid moves, different hair cells respond to different frequencies, low sounds activating cells at one end, high sounds at the other, exactly as Helmholtz had theorized a century earlier. Those hair cells convert the physical movement into electrical signals, and those signals travel along the auditory nerve directly into the brain. But here's where things get interesting. A Hungarian-American scientist named Georg von Békésy spent decades building physical-scale models of the cochlea, large enough to watch the basilar membrane move in real time, and finally proved how the whole system actually functioned. That work earned him the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1961, one of the only Nobel Prizes ever awarded specifically for explaining something the human body already does on its own. But here's the detail that almost never gets mentioned alongside any of this. Those 15,000 hair cells that power the entire system cannot regenerate. Loud noise, certain medications, infection, and time can all destroy them, and once they're gone, they stay gone. Every other sensory system in the body carries some capacity for repair or recovery. The hair cells in your cochlea carry none. The ear you have right now contains the same cells you were born with, and every one of them is irreplaceable. Fast forward to today, and researchers are developing gene therapies aimed at regrowing those hair cells, with early clinical trials already showing partial hearing restoration in people who lost it years earlier. Cochlear implants currently bypass the hair cells entirely and stimulate the auditory nerve directly with electrical signals, restoring functional hearing to hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. Even so, the original biological system, 15,000 cells inside a fluid-filled spiral the size of a pea, driven by three bones smaller than a single grain of rice, remains something no engineer has come close to replicating from scratch. So the next time you cup your hands behind your ears and notice the world suddenly sounds clearer, you'll know exactly what just happened. You made your outer ear slightly larger, funneling more of those compression waves toward a system that took hundreds of millions of years to build and a Nobel Prize to fully explain. If you enjoyed that, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more curious people. And subscribe to Simple Things, Surprising Histories for more stories hiding inside the ordinary world.